I grew up in a rural area where apartheid was something that was academic, except when you went to town. You would see how they were treating my father. I kind of began conscientizing us to say something must be wrong with this society. Why is it that we Black people, when we go to town, we're told that we can't drive, we shouldn't be here, and we're forcefully moved by the apartheid government. We then moved on to Witgedacht. And when we arrived there, it was terrible. And after a while, we all started building. And in building the place, we got interest, obviously, in going to the university. I went to University of the North at the time, now called University of Limpopo. And when we got there, we then began feeling the real wrath of apartheid. All those things that we experienced when we were young, of seeing it in town, now they were happening right in our own campus. So we then participated in the demonstration. We started being, radical. And I will never forget the scene the day they threw us out, all of us from the campus. And they put in a guard of honor for us with a white police wearing uniform and with dogs and guns because we're refusing to get out. So they decided that they're going to take us all out to leave. And we, left. Then we all dispersed and went everywhere else. When I finished, I decided to take up a job in Tembisa. And I then began feeling again and again this discrimination that was just intolerable. So I started organizing with the unions there, and we all started talking and just saying, look, this is not on. And we're planning a strike at that particular time. And then they decided they're going to clamp on me. Even before these things could just materialize in a big way, they're going to clamp on me. And we said, no, we've got to get out here, and leave. We left the country, and the ANC assisted me to get to the United States. As soon as I had an opportunity, was to enter the master's degree, enter a doctoral degree at Johns Hopkins University. When I came back to South Africa, I ended up being asked to serve as a Director General of Health, first as a special advisor to the minister, and then as a Director General of Health. And that first task was to immediately transform the Department of Health so that all the 14 departments that were there from the different provinces, from the Bantustans and all that, can serve all South Africans. As soon as I got into those meetings, I felt I was not welcome. It was all men except one woman, all white except one colored fellow. I then decided, no, Minister, there's no way that we're going to transform the health department like this. She said, look, what do you want to do? I said, well, what I suggest we do, let's create our own structure. I can tell you within 1 year of advertising the position and hiring those people, we were actually able to turn it around to become 63% Black, and we had about 27% female, which was a big change. We now have a new Department of Health, and then we're now bringing everybody together regardless of whether they were, Black, white, Indian, whatever. It didn't matter after that transformation.
But you also were in battles with the pharmaceutical companies. Tell us about that.
Sure, that was one of the biggest struggles that I can say I've ever had in my life. We decided that we need to take on this struggle with the pharmaceutical companies, that the drugs in this country are just way too expensive. We've got too many people living with HIV that will never be able to obtain the drugs. And I went and took a hardline position that you cannot leave Africans to die while you are providing treatment for people in Europe and in the United States. Our own people that are expected to support me on this, they were anti the position. What I realized is that we had the whole world against us. We debated and eventually forced the entire 192 countries not to take a decision because of the fact that there was no agreement. So we fought that battle. Many people don't know about HIV. The traditional methods of getting messages on HIV were not appropriate. They weren't working. And therefore it was important that a new approach be designed. And that new approach was Sarafina Play. Sarafina was one of those projects that was started maybe 2 or 3 weeks before I got into government. And as soon as I got into government and I was responsible there, I found that decisions had already been made. So the tender was given and I was going through the files. I looked at this thing, I said, what? What's going on? How did we get to 14 million for this particular contract? This thing is not worth 14 million. So we sat down and I said, okay, let's be honest. Let's say mistakes were made and just accept the responsibility. And if you say you made a mistake and you are wrong, people will forgive you. The powers that may be would not allow me to make that statement. It became impossible because there was no longer any trust. And that's where we kind of parted ways with the administration. What I would say to people, first of all, ask yourself a question. Is what I'm doing going to be beneficial to the people of this country or not? Put the people of South Africa first and put yourself last. And if we can do that, I do believe we'll have a great South Africa.